I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't aware of blues music. I don't remember discovering it. It's just kind of always been there from what I remember. You know, I don't remember ever not knowing Muddy Waters, and you know, I guess I was kind of raised on rock and roll music through my father. So Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry and Eddie Cochran, Gene Vincent, etc. So I guess blues kind of goes hand in hand.
I started listening to it on the radio when I was about 12.
What was it about the blues that got you?
Oh, it's just such an emotional music. I just loved it as soon as I heard it.
Oh, my dad had a bunch of old blues records. Jimmy Reed and Slim Harpo records. And that was about the time Stevie Ray Vaughan and the T-Birds, Robert Cray and all that stuff kind of made it big. So it kind of all hit together. Actually, my dad also had a barber. He would take us to get a haircut. And so we go get a haircut, and this guy played guitar in a blues band. And we ended up going to a bar, me and my brother and my dad, and seeing the band. You know, so at first I was like, oh, blues, yeah. I don't know. I didn't know much about it. Then we heard the band, it's like, wow, this is great. It's like, you know, loud and exciting and, you know. So then I started digging through those old records and going, oh, check this stuff out.
Well, I guess I was into it from the first time I heard it, because when I was nothing but pretty much a baby, my uncle liked it, you know, he liked it blues. My grandmother liked it blues. My mother liked it blues. So everybody pretty much in my family liked it blues, except my grandmother on my daddy's side. She didn't like it because she called it devil's music. You know, she was really very, very, very religious. So when I look at it now, at this day and age, they would have called her a religious fanatic, you know, but everybody else on my mother's side was crazy about the blues. So my grandmother had all of those old records, you know, and that's where I picked it up from. And I mean, the first time I can remember hearing it, man, it was like a tickling just went through the body, you know, and I just loved it. I could be in the bed like sleeping. My uncle would go in and start playing what they had then, they called a graphophone, you know. So I would hear that, and I'd wake up and get up, jump up on his lap, and man, as far as I'm concerned, that's when I got into it.
As far as I know, all of my life. My mother's brother, we live across the woods down in the cotton field somewhere there, and he was a guitar player, and he died way back, but I used to be after his guitar, and so I was just a kid, 3, 5, I don't know, years of age, but always, my granddad, my mother's dad, he was a guitar player too, so it's always been a part of me, as far as I can.
Well, I got into the blues when I was in the orphanage home. I got into it when I was 12 years old. My grandmother bought me a little Stella guitar. I have it on the cover on the Lyytinen and Rao records. I'm sitting in front of the White House outside the gate, and I got that little Stella. I don't know where it's gone now, but she bought it for me, and I started learning how to play the blues on it. And I used to go around blues players. I was raised up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And they'd be on the street playing, you know, they'd be passing the hat, feeling maybe $1, $2, 50 cents. And I'd join those players, which I had no business being around older men. And that's where I got my experience, being around different players like that.
I was studying in this school, and we had a music history lesson going on, and this teacher was showing us a tape from Ray Charles doing Georgia on My Mind. I go goosebumps right away when I think of that moment, you know. That was the turning point for me, and I was, wow. You know, we all know how Ray Charles was so outgoing, and so emotional, deep emotionals, and so I was like, oh my God, I want that feeling as well, you know. I need to go and do that same stuff. So I come up with my first blues band that time.
Well, growing up as a little kid, you know, like 6, 7 years old, my granddad used to throw house parties at the house. And we didn't have a radio, you know, for a while. And so listening at my granddad, you know, at those house parties was sort of like the first music, you know, for me that I heard, you know. And all the grandkids used to get out there on the ground and kick up dust, you know, to the music. And my granddad invite, you know, a lot of his friends over, and they just have a jam session on the back porch, you know, or eat on the front porch, drinking moonshine and just, you know, having a good time, you know.
So you were hooked by then?
So I was hooked, man. I knew that's what I wanted to do, you know.